How we doing? We're back.
Hey, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Welcome to Timberwolves Talk number 2. Um, Excited. We got a lot of new Timberwolves stuff to talk about, so we're excited to get into that.
Yeah, Timberwolves Talk number 1 did fairly well, and we got a lot of people saying they loved how we might be doing a weekly Timberwolves Talk. So we definitely want to keep that going. Try to do that through the whole season, just give you guys updates and stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll get straight into it.
All right, yeah. So the first topic we want to talk about is so ESPN recently came out with their top 100 players. It's projected players after this season, right?
Yeah, I think it's seasonal projections for the next season.
So that's a little different, but so they released a graphic, and on the graphic it had D'Angelo Russell ranked 69th in the NBA. And first I was like, okay, whatever. But then you see the people in front of him, and it's honestly flat out disrespectful. Who they had Tyler Hero,
So
Ball.
yeah, they had just some of the players in front of him. OG Anunoby, washed up Serge Ibaka, washed up Blake Griffin, Tyler Hero, Lonzo Ball. I mean, if you're putting guys ahead of D'Lo, this is perspective. His All-Star season in Brooklyn from 2019 to 2020, he was the 26th overall player in the ESPN 100. 2 years later, when he's increased every single one of his stats and just gotten he's a more well-rounded player and just better now, they dropped him over 40 spots.
And
take that in.
Just the fact that they put Blake Griffin there when it's projected after the season, I don't think Blake Griffin has a lot of potential to get any better after the season.
No, and that's the thing. D'Lo's not even in his prime yet.
Yeah, he's getting to it. He has so much potential, and then you're.
Yeah, I could not believe, and they put Zion at 19 and they have Ja Morant lower than Zion when Zion didn't even play half a season and Ja Morant won Rookie of the Year, and you have Zion and you have a second-year player in the top 20 players. Like, that guy better be a stud his rookie year if you're putting him in the top 20 players, because then in the top 20 you're getting into all NBA ranges. So they're projecting Zion to be an all NBA player.
Yeah, I just don't see that. I could see it though. I could see it with Zion.
Yeah, I mean the Zion thing's not bad. The Zion thing's okay. It's just the ESPN 100. So what they did also was Cat dropped 5 places from last year. He dropped from 18 to 23, which makes no sense because he averaged 27, 13, and 5, which is an incredible All-NBA season. So how are you going to drop a player for getting better? Like, I don't know how they did that. It's the same thing with Ricky Rubio, too. They dropped him 6 spots when he got better from last season.
Yeah, it just doesn't it's obviously just ESPN always has got their little biases. Like they'll always push a Ball brother high.
Definitely.
They'll always do Zion just to get that little headline and get people like us talking about why they have Zion so high. Like, this is something now Stephen A. Smith can talk about on the show about if he agrees with it or not.
See, the thing is, they didn't even put Lonzo just right ahead of D'Lo. They put him almost 20 spots ahead of D'Lo. Do you think Lonzo is 20 players better than D'Angelo Russell?
Not at all. He's a good player. Lonzo is a good player, and he could be a great player someday. He's getting a lot better. But D'Angelo Russell is already established.
He already made an all-star team.
Yeah, he established himself as an all-star. And he's only trending upwards. He's finally got a whole offseason to practice with the Timberwolves. Now he's like, didn't he come here in the middle of the season last year?
Yeah, he came here in the middle of the season with an entirely new group to its core. And Cat was hurt the whole time he was playing. He played 1 game with Karl Anthony Towns. So imagine how good he's going to be with a guy who can pick and roll like him.
It's crazy. It's crazy how fast they forget, man.
It really is. So that's just the first note today. Just absolutely egregious ranking. Because you think in the NFL top 100 players is that's pretty elite to be in a top 100 in the NFL. Yeah. But the NBA, you're having 2 players drafted to a team each year. That top 100 is not crazy to crack. In my opinion, where do you think D'Lo should be?
Dude, at least top 40, I think.
I would 100% agree. I'd say Maybe 26 might have been a little too high, but even
Yeah.
then, he made the All-Star team. So like you're gonna put him in the top
Well, yeah,
because
how many players make
if you have
All-Star team?
15 players on each All-Star team, you're gonna be in the top 30. So I mean, I would put him at like 35, honestly.
Yeah, 35, 40 is a perfect range, and like even that, yeah, he's got a lot of room to prove people wrong. I guess I don't.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, whatever adds. I think it's really good when a team's when everyone's just underdog in a team, not giving them any credit. Like it just adds fuel.
Yeah. What Oh shit. Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, what do you think he? Oh, here we go. Do you think he like looks at that? Do you think he sees that? Do you think like he sees that he's ranked 69th in the NBA, or do you think he just doesn't care at all?
I mean, like he definitely saw it because like that's the bit ESPN puts one of those out every year, and I'm sure all the players look at it just to see where everyone is. I don't know. I'd be pissed if I was him because he's established. He's more established than probably 20 to 30 players ahead of him. So what does he think?
So does this put a target? Does this make it a little bit more competitive for him every time?
Oh yeah, I'm sure when he plays Lonzo this year on the Pelicans, like I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he knows Lonzo's 20 players ahead of him.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like it's not gonna be like he's not gonna be staying up like not able to sleep at night.
Yeah, but he's gonna have a little edge to him for sure. He's gonna say, "Yeah, I'm better than him, so I'm gonna show him that I'm better."
Yeah. And as a Timberwolves fan, I mean, that's like it's only good for us.
Yeah,
to have him have that little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I really I respect that.
Oh gosh,
are we cutting out?
We were for a second there. I think it's good now.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy. They're all gonna have a little chip on their shoulder now.
Right. So to make the top 100, you just basically have to be top 3 or 4 on your team.
Yeah. Well, yeah. At least top 2 for sure.
Yeah, top 2 or 3. Like that's not even.
No, and like you're telling me that like DLO's easily the second best player on the Timberwolves, and he's I don't know. It's ESPN. Do they really pay attention to every single team? No, they don't. I'm sure they really don't care about the Timberwolves whatsoever.
Not yet. They don't. They will.
Not yet. Not yet. So I guess we could. Oh, go ahead.
You go.
I guess we could kind of transition into the Karl Anthony Towns press conference because what the Wolves have been doing every day of this training camp so far is they have Ryan meet with the press, and then they have usually just a different player every single day. So Cat's was a little bit different though. His was, I don't know. So all the rest were about basketball, and obviously they're going to ask about Karl Anthony Towns' mom and the tragic situation with her death from COVID. And they asked him a lot of questions about it, and it came out that 7 other members of his family died from COVID. So I mean, that's got to be really tough to play with that on your conscience for sure.
Yeah, that's even like I can't even fathom that. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, because each one of those 7 family members is just another connection that's lost. And I think the bigger thing is in such a short period of time that all these people in his life are leaving. He kind of called it like he said he's been so fortunate his whole life, and when this finally hit, it was like a reality check. Like, oh man, like this is real life. Like death happens.
Yeah, but just the fact that he's out there right now and he's practicing with the team is so respectable and just
for sure.
And
yeah, go ahead.
Especially with his like work ethic being questioned in the past, just like the fact that he's out there right now and he's with the guys and with the team, and this might be the best thing for him right now, to be honest, is being out there and just getting his mind off it. But that's got to be so hard for anyone.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. There's like. He got asked the question too, is basketball is therapy? And he said, I don't know if it ever can be my therapy again. And like, yeah, like some people are going to be like, oh, like, does he not like it anymore? And it's just like, no, like I think right now he's just going through a really tough time. And I wouldn't even be mad if he had to take the season off just mentally. It's stuff that happens. I mean, you can't be mad at that, but
no.
It says a lot about his character that he's out there, with the teammates trying to, push this team into the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and it shows that he's really dedicated to the organization, and the organization is dedicated to him, and it's a really good sign as a Timberwolves fan and just like to see some of the comments in the whenever time the Timberwolves would post about practice, they'd be like, where's Karl Anthony Towns? Like, where is he? He's never at practice, blah blah blah. And just like, I don't know, that kind of made me upset.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of the times when ESPN posts something about Towns, everyone's calling him soft and stuff. But I mean, I don't know what else he needs to show to say that he's not soft. I mean, I don't think any of those commenters could have to go through what he has to go through at the moment.
Exactly. No one's taking the time to put themselves in his shoes or even like try to understand that.
Yeah, and I think he's around some great people, and I think some of the people, have kind of almost been in the same situation. Like you look at Ryan Saunders losing his mom and dad. So I think he really loves Ryan too. So I think that's a really good bond to have between the two, and they can talk about it and share their feelings. I think maybe it's the same thing. Maybe he's talked to Anthony Edwards about it, how he feels too with losing his mom and his grandma. So I think it's a really good. I think this is a really special bond between this team. The chemistry looks great.
Yeah, you see those videos that they posted, like the team might getting hype after practice. Have you seen those?
Yeah, those are sick.
Yeah, like that just gets me hype and like. Yeah, and also with Cat, you see him wearing the New Balance shoes?
Yeah, those were. I think his Nike contract expired this year, so I think he might be a sneaker free agent. So I saw him wearing Adidas the other day too. So I don't know. Maybe he's just.
Yeah, he's just testing out, see what he likes. But I feel like he's kind of a New Balance type of guy. To be honest.
So who is there any big New Balance basketball players at the moment?
Kawhi's
New Balance. Okay, so I feel like some of the regular shoe brands like Puma and New Balance and even Under Armour too. They're kind of starting to come out and gather some traction on some players.
Oh, for sure. And it's kind of off topic, but I just watched a documentary last night called Gap Year.
Yeah.
And it was about Darius Baisley. So he was a rookie last year on the Thunder. He got picked 23rd. And so when he was coming out of high school, he was the ninth ranked player in his class, committed to Syracuse. And it was a huge deal. And then he decided, you know what, my family's in a tough situation. I'm gonna go to the G League. So he called Boeheim and was like, hey, I gotta go to the G League. I'm sorry, but I'm decommitting from Syracuse. So that was a huge headline because he was kind of the first guy to go to the G League instead of college, because that was right when that rule came up. So he drew headlines from that. And then a couple months later, he decommitted from the G League and decided to get an internship at New Balance for $1 million.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's awesome that he was one of the first ones to pave that route, because this year especially, there's some top prospects I think Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga, who are both top 5 in the class of 2021. They're doing the G League this year, and I'm sure they're going to turn out great. Why not make money and just do what you love all the time if you know you're going to be good at it?
Well, yeah, especially Darius. He didn't even play in the G League. He didn't even play organized basketball. He just trained at the New Balance headquarters and helped him design shoes. And that's all he did for a year.
He's definitely living his dream too, I bet.
Yeah, and when the Thunder coach called him, he's like, yeah, we drafted you because of your internship. We realized how much that helped you grow as a person, and we just love your maturity, and we want to draft you.
Yeah, for sure.
And he averaged I think he averaged 7 points a game on the Thunder this year. So he might even start this year. So it just shows that you don't have to go to college. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. And if you're a good basketball player, you're still going to show that you're a good basketball player.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. I guess transitioning into another segment is, I think Peyton and I are going to try to come up with a couple of trades that maybe the fans and definitely us would think, not that they're going to happen at all, and not that they're super realistic, but something that could benefit the Timberwolves and something realistic. So I'll let you have at the first one.
Oh dear. So who's even on the trade? What are some top trade block names right now?
So I mean, Aaron Gordon and James Harden are probably some of the bigger ones, and Aaron Gordon has been linked to the Timberwolves. So I think, Gerson said it, I think yesterday in a press conference. He said, this team is shaping up to be who I want it to be, but I guarantee you we're not done yet. So that just tells me they're probably going to make another move before the season starts. And I think Aaron Gordon plugged in at the 4 could be a really dangerous weapon, because that dude's really athletic and can space the floor great.
I mean, because that's kind of the only position that we're lacking in is the 4.
Yeah, when we brought in a couple people to try to help us there, and Ed Davis and Rondé, but they're both pretty heavily defensive and don't have too many offensive skills. So I mean, if you bring in a guy like AGordon, who is one of the stars of that Magic team, that's kind of a big 3 in Cat, DLO, and AGordon.
Dude, that could be scary.
Yeah, and then you have Anthony Edwards and Malik spacing the floor too in the corners on the wings. I mean, that's really scary.
That's a really good team.
So I think to get AGordon, I think we'd probably have to give up. You think we'd probably have to throw a future first, and we'd probably have to throw him Culver or a Kogi and maybe Layman.
Get rid of Layman.
Get rid of Layman and throw.
Hey, he might be a potential guest on the podcast. We can't
not get rid of him. We're just saying if in this trade, we'd probably have to put Layman in there to match contracts, and then it'd be one of Culver. It would most likely be a Kogi, I'm assuming, and a first.
A Kogi and a first for AGordon. I think that's worth it. I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. If we can put AGordon on this team, so I think if we had that, our starting lineup would be DLO, Malik, Anthony Edwards, AGordon, and Cat. I think even in the West, that's a for sure top 8 team. That's a playoff team.
Gotta be.
No doubt.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be a great trade. What about Harden? Let's get Harden out here. What would we have to give up with Harden?
So the Harden market's a little different right now because obviously he wants to be in a winner, but I don't know if I'm sure the Rockets would want to trade him out of the West just so it would make it easier. But I think if he were to come to the Timberwolves, since he requested a trade, this isn't just a straight trade, because if Harden didn't want to get traded and they didn't want to trade him, it would have to be a lot of first rounders, a lot of players, probably a star. But since he wants to be traded, I think the Timberwolves could give them, if they wanted him, a 2023 first, a 2025 first, both unprotected, a Kogi and Culver. Would you have to throw Rubio? You'd probably have to throw Rubio in there to match some salary cap.
No, we don't want we can't get rid of Ricky.
So it'd have to be at least 2 first rounds, possibly 3, and a couple role players, I'm assuming, if we were to try to actually go after him.
I don't want him, dude. Realistically, I don't think.
And I don't want him either. It's not worth giving up that much assets for a player who is probably going to opt out of his contract in a couple years and not going to re-sign with Minnesota.
Yeah, and he's just I've never really been a big James Harden fan as a player.
Neither have I.
I don't think he's what we need right now in our culture. He's kind of, I don't know. He just seems kind of like, I don't know. I just don't like.
He's definitely, he has to be the main guy wherever he goes. He's going to have the ball in his hands. And that's why that Brooklyn team, if they acquired James Harden, I think would be an interesting team, because you have 3 players who are all that guy on their teams previously. So I don't know.
Team would be a great 2K team, but just
that'd be the greatest 2K team of all time.
I think it's funny how people just forget that KD and Kyrie are on the same team.
Yeah.
So when you do when I play 2K with my brother and you do 3 randoms and a suicide, one time I got the Nets and I was like, crap. And then I looked at their roster, I'm like, wait, they have KD and Kyrie?
And Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen. Their team is actually really good. I would not be surprised if that team won the finals this year.
Dude, it's just gonna be hard with Kyrie and KD. But then you also look at it, I mean, Kyrie knows how to play with other stars. He's always played with other stars.
Yeah. I think that team will be good.
But KD is a different player than LeBron was. Yes. LeBron is a whole different animal than KD.
LeBron's a whole nother just different type of he's just a different type of player. LeBron's a distributor, whereas KD's a scorer. So
that's why I feel like they could have some issues there. And Kyrie's just had a lot of issues lately.
They're just 2 big personalities too. And then if you throw Harden in there, that's just 3 of the biggest NBA personalities. Just some hotheads at times too.
I'd predict the Timberwolves would be higher than that team.
You think so?
Well, dude, how are they each going to average 30 points a game?
And then no one else touches the ball.
Like that? What? No way that's gonna happen. I mean, if they could make it work, why not?
Yeah, I guess that is true. So I guess the next segment was, I think we wanted to talk about how the roster is going to shape out, because I believe, I'll look it up, but I believe at the moment there's 18 players on this Timberwolves roster. So we need to get it down to
15?
I want to say 15. So if we were to cut players, it would definitely
not cut. They'd go to the G League, right?
G League, yes, G League. So I think at the moment, I have the roster in front of me right now. I don't see Tyler Cook making the roster.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I can give it a try.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do this. Share screen. All right, am I sharing?
No, you're not sharing. I'll pull it up. I don't think you have like
I probably don't have the authority like you do.
No, I don't think you do over there. Timberwolves. All right, so you can keep talking while I pull it up.
Yeah, so I think at the moment, I don't think Tyler Cook will make the roster. I don't believe Ashton Hagans will make the roster at the moment. No, I think he'll play in the G League for a year or two.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Aid Murkey will definitely not make the roster. And so I think and possibly I would go between, well, I think that's 15 right there. Let's count it out. So we have.
You don't think Murk's making it?
I don't think Aid Murkey's making it. No. So I think we have. Do you have it on your screen? Okay. So yeah, at the moment, I would say probably not Aid Murkey, probably not Tyler Cook, probably not Ashton Hagans. And if they were to send one more person, I would say Jaden McDaniels or because Jared Vanderbilt's taking some stats. So maybe you put Jaden McDaniels in the G League 1 year, let him kind of be the face of the G League team, get a lot of minutes.
Yeah, I for sure. I think that would be the right path for McDaniels. First of all, why does he look like Little Yachty? Little Yachty. What is that?
So that might be the worst picture of Jaden McDaniels you could possibly get.
What?
Is that when he had braces, I think?
Oh, so this is from like high school?
That's from his Washington days. That's college, I believe. He looks a lot different now, though.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, dude. Well, especially Aid. Murk, they don't even have a number on him. So you think Jalen Noel is gonna make it?
Yeah, he took some strides last year. He was our second round pick of last year's draft with Culver, and he's been knocking down a lot of threes, and I guess he's at a good camp. So I think he'll probably make the roster.
Yeah. So what does it look like for a player who's not going to make the roster? What's their path going to be from there? They're not cut. Like,
no, they are probably going to get sent down to the G League, play a couple years there, and earn their way back out. It's not the worst thing in the world to get sent down to the G League. It's literally just like the minor leagues in baseball. There's a lot of top prospects in the minor leagues that haven't even been seen. I mean,
exactly. And for a player like Jaden McDaniels, what is he? 18 years old? 19?
19. Yeah, he's really young.
Well, he's our age, which is hilarious to think about. So he's a 19-year-old kid. This is instead of college. He's getting paid millions. And now once he goes down to the G League, he's going to be a starter.
But yeah, he'll be the starter day one.
If he makes the roster, he's not going to get many minutes. So this is the best possible thing for him. He still gets to play, still gets in-game reps, and then he also is getting paid instead of doing another year at Washington where, especially with this year, they might not even get to play like a full season.
Yeah, we're not sure how the whole thing's going to pan out at all.
So, like, not making the roster sounds like a bad thing, but for him, for Ashton Hagans, like, that's the best possible thing that could happen to them.
Yeah, hopefully those two develop into, like, one of them's a first-round pick. So, I mean, you're hoping your first-round pick hits.
For sure. And then we don't even need to go out and get a guy like AGordon in the future. We just have Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, I'd love that. So I think another thing I wanted to touch on, too, was what do you think Anthony Edwards' season stats are going to be like? What's your prediction this year?
So for me, I think it could go either one. It could go one or two ways. I think he's going to average over 10 points a game.
For sure.
I think I'm guessing like probably like 14 points a game. Set 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
Okay, I can see that because we don't even know if he's going to be a starter yet. Honestly, we might start the season with Ricky, then transition to him, or he could be starter day one. But there's also just a lot of because D'Lo, Cat, and Malik Beasley are all going to garner. Honestly, I can see Malik scoring over 20 this year again. So I think honestly he's going. So that's in itself. If you say Cat scores 28, D'Lo scores 24, 25, and then Malik's 20, that's a lot of points that have been scored. And if you're Anthony Edwards, I can see him in about the 15 to 16 point range with, like you said, I think 5 rebounds would be great. And I think 5 assists would be awesome. I think more likely it'll be 3 or 4. But if he puts up those stats, that's a great first year, especially in a really weird offseason.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I like the reason why I have him averaging not the highest amount of points is just there's so many points that are going to be put on the board by the other players in the Timberwolves that unless he's forcing it, I think if he just lets it come to him, that a 14 or 15 points a game is very doable. And he's going to have games where he's going to score 25. He's going to have games where he scores 7. He's going to be inconsistent. He might start off terrible. He might have some really bad first games, and that's okay because he hasn't had he barely is going to have a preseason, no summer league. He hasn't played like organized basketball in like a real game setting in a long time. Like he's going to be rusty, and we got to be okay with that.
Yeah, and I mean, like you don't see a lot of players just kill it their first stretch of games. Like the only players you really see just absolutely go ham their first year is like you see the Luka Doncic's averaging 19. You see the Ja Morant's going off. Like that's pretty rare to just have a player go out and just do their thing right away. And I think the extent to why Luka did that is because he played professional basketball in the EuroLeague since he's 17. Right. So I mean that's the only reason I think he came out so hot out the gates.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have too high of expectations for Ant-Man, but
no, and I think that's what's great because he's not going to have to be that guy. Like I think a lot of reasons why Wiggins failed was because at a lot of times he was supposed to be our primary scorer, and Wiggins is just not meant to be a primary scorer. He's better when he's the third star of a playoff team or the fourth guy. So if you put Anthony Edwards a little inefficient at Georgia, but that's just because he had to shoot so many balls. If you just let him play his game and let the other guys do their thing, he's gonna cut and get open. He's gonna have wide open shots in the corner. He's gonna be able to play make because they're worried about other guys. Like it's gonna be a really good situation for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So let's go into the next one. What are your I couldn't find a good picture. What are your thoughts on the new Timberwolves uniforms?
I think I'm like a lot of other people. I think obviously we kind of set the bar really high with the Prince jerseys and then the light blue jerseys. Like those are definitely some of the best jerseys in the league the past few years. But I like them. I mean, I don't really have an issue with them. They're not as like flashy as the light blues, but I think they're gonna look like really good. I think they're gonna be one of those jerseys that's not like wow, like right off the bat. But when you see them on the court, you're gonna be like, okay, those are really clean, like just black with a lime green trim. I think those look really cool.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan of them, to be honest.
Not a huge. Okay.
No, I just don't like the min. I don't like the MMINA. I don't know. I just think it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's just hard with the light blues and the Prince ones. What category are the jersey that you have on right now? What category are those? City or
these? No. Were these? So I think it was 2 years ago. Well, the Timberwolves wore these all in the early 2000s. Yeah. These black ones, but 2000, I think 18 or 19, they released these like throwback uniforms, and like everyone loved them. Like everyone wanted to keep these jerseys and maybe even use them for like away jerseys. But then the Timberwolves just took them away, and I don't know if it was just because it was something with the NBA, like you can only have these jerseys for one season. But what I don't get is other teams have the historic Nike jerseys too. So I mean, I don't know why I pointed to the wrong side, but I don't know why we couldn't have these, because I would 100% keep this in our arsenal. I think these look so fresh on the court.
Dude, the jerseys with the tree trim.
Dude, the tree trim is so nice.
those might be the best jerseys of all time. In my
Like
unbiased opinion, I think those are the best jerseys. Not even the black ones, but like
the
the
blue
blue
ones
ones
were really cool.
and the white
And the
ones.
white. The white were awesome too.
So, dude, if you get those with like new material, like the new fit, like that most players wear now, like with the shorter shorts, like if those are the only jerseys we wear.
Yeah, and you know what I can see too? I can honestly see us because I don't know when our jersey like I think it's every 2 years you can really switch your jerseys if you want. So I
Yeah,
think our regular home and away right now, dude, if we switched to the white with the trees as the home and the blue with the trees as the away and have these as the alternates, I would be 100% down to do that.
yeah, and
I
I
think
think
those would be some of the coolest jerseys in the NBA.
and then you hit them with the MSP and the prints for the alternatives.
Yeah, like see, like see what I didn't get is you don't have to change your city edition uniform. You can keep the same one. I would have liked to see the light blues for one more year.
Yeah, because we barely got to wear them. It felt
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we never got to give them the full love that they deserve. But dude, if they come back with the tree trim, I'll for sure buy a jersey. I've really never bought like a full price NBA jersey, but I would for sure do it if they come with that with the print with the.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite uniforms ever. So I definitely agree.
Yeah. So the final. Are we?
Are you frozen? Okay, I thought you were frozen.
I know. I keep
Good?
getting worried after one. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, dude, I got some PTSD from our last time.
Yeah, that was bad.
Okay, so Okogie said that he's willing to play the 5 if Cat wants to play the 4. First of all, what a guy. He's taking one for the team. Like, it's a classic Okogie. I don't even know the guy that much as like a person, but just a great guy.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know if he would play a perfect PJ Tucker role, but
No.
he's one of the best wing defenders in the NBA, and he's only 6'4", but he has a 7-foot wingspan. So what they say is his estimated height he can cover is a 6'8" guy. So honestly, if we want to play small ball, I think a lineup of D'Lo, Malik, Anthony Edwards, Okogie, and Cat. Could you imagine the spacing with that lineup?
Well, can Okogie shoot that well?
He's a below average 3-point shooter, but I mean, you say we're playing a Kawhi Leonard or we're playing a Paul George or a LeBron. I mean, he's going to be the guy that's going to have to cover him.
Yeah, so he wouldn't actually play the 5. He would just.
I think in today's NBA, I think honestly in some lineups, the 2 through 4 is just interchangeable. At least the 3 through 4, like
for sure. So like, but he's not going to be guarding like.
No, I'm sure they put Cat on the 7-foot. If there was a 7-footer in the lineup, I'm sure Cat would guard him. But I'm sure if there was a taller wing, like say even an Aaron Gordon, I think he could cover an Aaron Gordon. Obviously, it's a little bit of a disadvantage, but
yeah, I mean, I don't see the comparison to PJ Tucker because, like PJ Tucker, he just sits in the corner and chucks up threes.
Yeah, I think he's the best he's the best corner 3-point percentage the last like however many years. I don't know how I know that stat, but every time I watch the Rockets game, PJ Tucker sits in the corner, just nails threes, and they say that stat every single time because
he wears expensive shoes and he nails threes. That's all he does.
Dude, a PJ Tucker on the Timberwolves, I think would be such a good fit.
You think so?
Yeah, at the 4, could you imagine? We just need a guy with that bulldog mentality.
Yeah, who doesn't care how many points they're getting there.
They're rebounding, playing defense, hitting threes. Like that's.
So if Okogie can start knocking down threes, then that's him right there.
Yeah.
He's just got to get some better shoes, and then he's in.
he's got to wear some $1,000 shoes on court.
Yeah, some Yeezys. All right, so just to wrap it up, so we have first preseason game in 2 days?
On the 12th, so I think 3 days.
3 days. Yep. So, I mean, you've already said you're going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I'll watch it.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the whole thing, but I'll definitely like watch the highlights or like try to rewatch it or something. But I mean, what are you looking to get out of the first preseason game? I mean, obviously it's going to be a little rusty, but what are you looking to get out of it?
What I'm looking for is, so we're playing the Grizzlies, so I don't know if DLO and Cat are going to play much at all, if even play. I would assume I would err on the side of probably them not even playing. What I want to see is I just want to see Anthony Edwards and I want to see Jaden McDaniels and Culver. I want to see those three, and maybe even maybe get Rubio some minutes just so he can kind of hold that team together. But I want to see how well, because I know Okogie's going to defend, but. Like I want to see those are the three that have to prove to me who they are, because I believe in Nas and I believe in Okogie and I believe in Rubio, but I want to see if Culver can step up from year one. I want to see how he looks in this preseason game against some Grizzly starters. I just want to see how the rookies look, and if if they play well and they're somewhat efficient, I mean that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean I'm not looking too much, and so this is going to be before they cut the roster.
Yes. Yeah.
So they'll let the guys play that are fighting for a roster spot.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So we're just kind of see. It would be nice to get some of the rust out, but obviously we're not going to see the starters. We're not going to see the stars that much or even at all. Kind of like the NFL. I mean, it's just kind of expected. And you know what? Yeah, it's nice just to get some basketball going. And then our first game is 23rd of December.
It's 23rd. Yep. Pistons? Against the Detroit Pistons at home. So that's a great first game. I think that's as big of a softball as you're going to get in the NBA, a low-seeded East team. So I mean, I fully expect them to win, and I think anything less than at least 10 or 15 point win, I think I'd be a little disappointed with. So I think they got to come out and just make a statement right away.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where the season goes, and it's going to be starting up in a few days, so it's great to hear.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you later.
We'll see you.